Dear participant, good evening, all of you. And hopefully all of you are doing well. As usually, I always announce that I can allow you to unmute your mic. Okay. But keep in mind, only necessary, then or required, you can unmute your mic. Otherwise, keep muted. Okay. So that we can avoid the disturbance. Okay. Good evening, and here, yes. During the session, you can unmute your mic. Okay, you are now permitted. So once again, welcome back to the ongoing workshop and today's session. Very warm welcome to all of you joining us today for this exciting and insightful session on data visualization using Matplotlib and Seaborn. So today in this session, we are going to cover two libraries which are very important to visualize our data. Okay. So as my name is Meher Chand, and to host today's live session as a part of ongoing Python essential for data science, data analytic, and AI. In today's data-driven world, the ability to visualize and communicate insight clearly is very more important than ever. Visualization is not just about making chart look good. It's about making data understandable, meaningful, and actionable. Whether you are analyzing patterns, explaining results, or building machine learning models, effective visualization can elevate the impact of your work. So in this session, we will explore the importance of data visualization and how to create line plot, bar plot, and histogram using Matplotlib, how to go deeper with the advanced visualization like heat map, box plot, and pair plots. Okay, using machine learn, using the library Seaborn and Matplotlib, and how to customize this plot to suit your analytic needs. This will be a hands-on session, and so I encourage you all to follow along, ask questions, and make the most of the opportunity to apply what you learn in real life. So once again, thank you for being here, and let's get started with the fascinating world of the visual storytelling through Python. I am going to share my screen, and a nice audience has been connected with us. Some of the participants will join us very soon. Okay, so here you can see this is my entire screen is here. Okay, and so first we will go through this presentation, and then after we will talk about our ongoing topic. So this is the Python essential for data science with the Matplotlib and Seaborn. Here what we are using environment, we have Jupyter Notebook, or we can use Colab Python. Both we can use, and the libraries, as you can see here, Matplotlib and NumPy, Pandas, and Seaborn. Okay, so these libraries we are using here for this today's session. Okay, and the content you can see on the right hand side: importance of data visualization, plotting with the Matplotlib, like line, bar, histogram, and advanced plotting with the Seaborn. We will talk about heat map, box plot, pair plot, and at the end customizing plots. Okay, so here you can see why data visualization is important. Okay, so data visualization is the graphical representation of the information and data by using visual element like chart, graph, and map. Data visualization tools provide accessible way to see and understand trends, outliers, and patterns in data. In today's data-rich world, the ability to effectively communicate insight derived from data is more crucial than ever. This document explores the reason why data visualization is so important, covering its benefit, application, and more. So here we can, with the help of these libraries, which we are going to cover in this session, By using these, we can study the patterns of the data to find out the outliers, trend, map, graphs, and charts. Okay, and why these are important? And since the power of the visual communication is very important. Humans are inherently visual creator. Our brains are wired to the process visual information much faster than and more efficiently than text or the numbers. So data visualization leverages this nature ability to make complex information more accessible and understandable. So by using these tools, which we are going to cover, we can enhance comprehension. Okay, visual can simply simplify the complex data set, making it easier to identify trend, pattern, and relationship that might be missed in the raw data. And visual representation allows for quick comprehension of the data, enabling faster decision making and improved memory. Visual are more memorable than text or the numbers, helping people retain information longer. And at the end, we have the effective communication. Data visualization provides a clear and concise way to communicate insight to a wider audience and regardless of their technical expertise. Okay. And then we have the some of the important part where we can discuss about the benefits of data visualization. Okay. So by using with the help of the data visualization, we can export the data and we can present the entire data in the form of the storytelling. Okay, we can improve communication, visualization, effectively communicate complex data to the diverse audience. Okay, and visualization enables informed evidence-based decision making, and with the help of the outliers visualization by visualizing the our data, we can find out easily the outliers, and after getting these outliers, we can by using the methods which we have the mask as we discussed yesterday, we can remove these outliers. Okay, and we these help us to identify the trend or of the ongoing based on data analysis. Okay, so the visualizations reveal trend and the pattern inside the data set. Next, we have the very important part, which is also useful. Okay, uh, applications of data visualization and where we can apply. So we can apply, we have the various type of the applications. In a business, we can use data visualization to track key performance indicators, monitor sales trend, analyze customer behavior, and optimize marketing campaign. Okay, and in science, scientists use data visualization to analyze experimental data, visualize complex model, and communicate research findings. In healthcare, we can use data visualization to track patients' outcome, monitor disease outbreak, and improve healthcare delivery. In finance, we can use to analyze data visualization to analyze the market trend, assess the risk, and make investment decision. Okay, and governments use data visualization to track economic indicator, monitor public health, and improve public services. Educators also use data visualization to teach complex concept, engage student, and assess learning outcomes. Journalists use data visualization to present data-driven stories in a clear and engaging way. Okay, so these are some useful applications of data visualization. And here you can find types of the data visualization, which we discuss one by one during our session. And also we will explain which type of the data visualization is used for what purpose. This is also again very important concept, because only we have to visualize the data insight is not sufficient. But why and which visualization is more effective with respect to our data, that is also again very important. So bar chart used to compare categorical data. Line chart used to show trends over time. Pie chart used to show proportions to of a whole data. A scatter plot we can use to show the relationship between two variables. Histogram we can use to show the distributions in a single variable. Box plot used to show the distribution of a single variable, including outliers. Okay, with the help of as you attended yesterday's lecture, and when we plot the box plot, and in this we can study the distribution of the single variable, and we can find out the outliers. Okay, we can find out the median, mode, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, maximum value, minimum value. So box plot are very highly useful whenever we have the data set, and we by using this tool, by using the box plot, we can easily study the what insight can be inside the data set. Okay, maps are used to show geographical data, and heat map again very useful to show the correlation between two categorical variables. And tree map is also again there, used to show hierarchical data, and network diagram also we can use it to show a relationship between the entities. So these are some of the applications of this type of the data set, and we can use. Okay, and then after we can have refining data visualization impact by using some of the tools, understand audience, tailor to audience knowledge. We can simplify the designs, but we can assign the label clarity and provide the context, use color effectively, and choose visualization. So we can refine our data by using and following this uh, visualization. Okay, so this is all about our the content which we are going to present here. Okay, so along with the we have prepared a script file using Jupyter Notebook. Also, the same file you can easily use inside Google Colab. Okay, so later on we will explain how you can use. So this file which I prepared especially how we can use the Matplotlib and Seaborn, and okay, so here this is the title of the today's. Okay, so here inside this file also a brief introduction about data visualization I have put here, and I will start from Matplotlib and Seaborn. These two libraries we are going to use here, but we should have the some brief introduction about Matplotlib and Seaborn. So Matlab is a powerful Python library for creating static, animated, and interactive visualization. It provides a full control over plot element, making it ideal for detailed customization. Okay, with the help of Matplotlib, we can customize it. But in the case of, on the other hand, Seaborn, which is the advanced library of the in as compared to Matplotlib, is also built on top of the Matplotlib and specialized in statistical data visualization. It offers built-in themes, simplifies complex plots, and integrate well with the pandas, making it easier to create visually appealing and informative charts. Okay. So why is the data visualization is important? We have discussed. I can skip this part also. So here, then after, we have mainly three main reasons: understanding the large data set, better decision making, and communication. So here we are going to start with the help of Matplotlib. But as you know, when we will use Matplotlib, okay, first we need to import. Okay, so if the libraries are not exist in your system, you can install, as I have explained already, how you can install these libraries. Okay, NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, Matplotlib. Okay, so these libraries are always required, and NumPy also. NumPy is pandas, Matplotlib, and Seaborn. So these four libraries are required and essential for data analysis and must be in your system. And if not, then you can easily install. Okay, if you did not attend my previous lectures, you can go through. Recordings are there. Okay. So here we have the very simple data set. In the very first example, suppose we have the sale of the data of a company for the past 5 years. Instead of analyzing a table, a line chart can quickly show trend. Okay, line chart is used to show the trend, which type of the trend is going there. Okay, and this is the we import the Matplotlib library as PLT. So every step in few graphs we will explain very clearly, and thereafter we can go very speedily. Okay. So first we need two variables. First is years, and we start from 2019 to 2023. And here is the sale corresponding to these years: 100, 120, 90, 150, and 170. So while using Matplotlib, just you will use PLT. This is the abbreviation which is used for this library. Okay, matplotlib.pyplot is PLT. So PLT will be used everywhere to control this graph. So this is very simple. To plot the graph, we use only plt.plot. Plot is the function inside plt, and to plot we are using plot function is plt.plot. Plot is the function, okay, which is in the part of this plt library. So here this is the first variable. You can see this information which is stored inside years. Then we are using the second variable, sales. Okay. So these two variables are required for this one, years and sales. Then after we can use the markers and line style. Okay. Markers are just like the triangle, okay, circle. There are several types of the markers which we can use. And here line style we are using hyphen. Okay, you can use double hyphen or you can use single hyphen. Single hyphen means in between two markers there will be straight line. Okay, so this is the pattern of the graph in which we can visualize. Secondly, then after we need to assign the x label, and you can easily use plt.x label. Okay, PLT will be everywhere because PLT is the library, and with the help of PLT, we can assign label, title, Y label, and we can show the graph. Okay, so here you can see inside the X label, we are using on years, and then on Y label, we have the sales in million. We want to display on y-axis. Okay, and the title we can put here a plt dot title, and inside the quote sign company sales over 5 years, and the plt dot show this is used to print the graph. So whenever you will press shift and enter, okay, so you have this graph which you can see here. Okay, so this is the graph. Okay, so according to our input, and you can see on the horizontal line, we have year starting from 2019 to 2023. Okay, and on the vertical line, you can see there is sales, and on the top you can see company sales over 5 years. And if you want to save this file, what you will do? You can right click on it, and then you can have okay. Okay. To save, copy, and just 1 minute. How you will save this file? New console, restart, undo, disable. Okay, copy, place, and copy to output. Just 1 minute. I have to go. This is the show, and you can write here. You can use the command write plot. Okay, we will discuss later. So we can write this graph, and this will be automatically saved in our directory. We will do later. So to show the plot, we are using plt.show. And in the next, we can have overview of the Matplotlib and Seaborn. Okay, so here by using the Matplotlib, a powerful library, we have discussed about this, and Seaborn built on the top of Matplotlib, making statistical plotting easier, and has built in the theme for better visualization. Oh, yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, the graph we just plotted, the y-axis that is allocated to the cells in million. So from the variable of cells, you have 100, 120, 90, 170, and 150 and 170. But if you look at the plot, we have exactly the least value to be 90 and the maximum value to be 170 without specifying it to a particular variable. Is it automatic? Can it go beyond 170 and go less than 90, or is a setup that fixes automatically that the less value figure to be 90 and maximum value to 170?
Please, can you repeat your question? I don't get your exact question. Or either, can you please repeat your question?
Okay, sir. If you look at the y-axis, the cell that you allocated to for the cell in million. Can you hear me, sir?
No, sorry. Can you please text me? I not able to understand. Actually, some echo is there from when I getting your voice. If this will, if you can text me. If you can text me, this will be easy to understand. Please text me.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, these two libraries, we have the brief introduction, and now when we are using Seaborn library, okay, and this we can use for the heavy data set when we have. So here we have the comparison, and also one more thing, when we are using the Seaborn as SNS, we have to use a Matplotlib along with the Seaborn, since there are many things which we have to customize according to our need. Okay, so there are so many functionalities inside Seaborn which will print without this Matplotlib. But if we need to some customization in our graph, so whenever we are using the Seaborn, we need also the Matplotlib, and NumPy is also there to customize our graph. Okay, when we have the some type of the functions, and in that case, NumPy will help us to manage everything. So here, these libraries we are using here. Okay, and here sample data we are generating with the help of line space. We have the x variable, and the interval is taking from 0 to 10. 100 will divide the entire interval into 100 points. Okay, so there will be 100 sub interval will be there, and corresponding to each point from 0 to 10, we need the values of y. Okay, y function here you can see np dot sin x. You can use any function according to your need. Okay, but I am taking here sin x. Okay, so the points or the length of x array as well as y must be equal, only then the plot will be there. But here automatically the length of y will be equal to x, since the values of y we are obtaining by using the x array. Okay, so we need not to worry about this. And here you can see we are using only we are using here Matplotlib. Okay, so by using the Matplotlib, we are using in this way plt.plot x comma y, plt.title, and plt.show. These are the minimum statement, and then after we have to use x label, y label, with the help of a PLT, as we discussed in the previous graph. Okay, and whenever you are using here Seaborn, okay, and Seaborn also here we can use here SNS dot set style, okay, dark grid, and here SNS dot line plot, x is equal to x, y is equal to y. Okay, these x and y will be taken from this place. The same graph will be there. Okay, and then after PLD dot title, here will title will be Seaborn, and here PLD dot show. So here only you can see this statement is extra as compared to all these three. But when we will plot the graph by using, and we can easily compare. So what you will do, you will press shift and enter. Okay, so when you will press shift and enter, so this is the graph which you can see on the top we have with the help of Matplotlib. Okay, and is the line plot for sine function. Okay, and here on the bottom you can see this is the using Seaborn line plot. Okay, and you can easily see the difference by using these two. Okay, the here is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and same is on the above. Okay, just by using this statement, dark grid. Okay, we have the dark style. If you are not using this statement, see what happened by using comment. Okay, now this is not the part of this grid. So you can execute and you can check the, okay. So here is, both are similar type. Actually, okay. And if you will remove, then, okay. Just 1 minute, I have to remove this part entire and then plot the graph. Matplotlib, okay, fine. And if there is a Seaborn library we are using, then we can have the both the graph. Okay, so you can see there is no difference much by using the Seaborn or the above. But when you have the complex data set, in that case, not easy to control large data set by using Matplotlib. So in that case, we have to use Seaborn. So here the data set is not much large, a very small data set is there. So we are not big difference here, and same graph here. Okay, so here then after we are going to talk about basic plotting with Matplotlib. We are talking about the line plot, bar plot, scatter plot, histogram, and how we can plot all this type of the graph. And there will be small functions are there, and we can optimize them according to our need. Okay, so here if you want to plot the histogram, so first we have is the line plot. So for the line plot, we are taking the very simple data set here, X and Y, and both are in the form of the list, having the element in X are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that of Y 10, 20, 25, 30, and 40. We can extend over it, but just now we need to understand only the types of the plot. Okay, so this is the example for line plot. Okay, so when these are the same statement as we discussed in the previous. Okay, and here one more customer is also add here. In the previous we use only marker, line style, but here we are using also the color. Okay, R means red. You can use R, B, K, etc. So these are the color which we can introduce here, and these statement are same. This will be the X label, Y label, title. You can insert according to your data set. Okay, and PLT dot show to visualize the data set. Then you will shift and enter. Okay, when you will press shift and enter, we have this line graph. As you can see, we use here R. for red graph. Okay, so here lines are dash dash dash. Okay, and dots are circle which we use here. Okay, so by using these double dot, we have this dash dash dash. If you are using a single hyphen, then see the difference. Okay, we have straight line. If you will use double, then this will be dash dash. Okay, so here you can use like in this way, and then you can see the difference. This is a turning error. Sometimes when you have the error, you can easily check it, and when you will go through the detail and saying that at the end you will find error message. Okay, so here you can see solid dashed. So this is the error, is not valid. You can see this not valid. Since I at this place I use double space, that's why this error occur. Okay, so Python itself will suggest you which if this type of the error message is there, you must go through the detail and you can easily find out what type of the error is inside your statement. So you can update and then see here, I update. Here you can see this is the double space I use here. Okay, so I have to update this one. Okay, now yes. So when I will again execute this shell, shift, and now it is fine. Now it is fine. Okay, no space is required. Only hyphen and hyphen. Okay, no space required. That's why it returns the error. If you need a scatter plot, this is again very simple. Here we are taking the random data and having the same length. So import numpy is np. With the help of numpy, we can create any kind of the data, and this is the library which is based on the numbers. Okay, so here how you can generate the data set, which is the random. So here x is equal to, we have np dot random dot rand. Okay, so these are 50 and y are also 50. So the random data set will be generated by using this function and store inside x variable and y variable. This is the function plt dot scatter. So this will return scatter graph. Okay, and you can have x comma y, and for the scatter we are using blue color. So the graph will be in blue color and plt dot title and plt dot show. Okay, so only important thing is this one. The other thing we can customize according to our need. We can assign the X label, Y label. Okay, if there is a 3D plot, then we can use Z label also. Okay, but here in the case of a data set, we can have only the 2D plots are there. So here, when you will execute, you can see this is the scatter plot. Okay. So each time when you will execute, you will have the different scatter plot. Since the values of the variables are generated randomly, and you can have this is the scatter plot you can observe here. Okay, so with the help of this scatter plot, we can easily study the relationship between the variables. So this is the entirely, you can see scattering over the whole 2 dimensions, and if we study this graph, there is no relationship between x and y variable. And here is the bar plot. If you want to plot the bar plot using Matplotlib, again very quite simple. We have a library is required. Then you have to categorize. Okay. So remember that when you will use the bar plot, this will be used for categorized data set. Okay. Here we have the 4 categories, and with their respective values are 10, 15, 7, 12. Okay, now here is the statements which help us to plot the graph. and you can see PLT dot bar. Here is the categories. Then we have the values. Okay, these are the values. And in the first variable, we have the categories. Okay, then to corresponding to these categories, you can assign your custom colors. Okay, so here we are using custom color for each category. So here there are four categories and we are using four different colors. Okay, so here color name we are using, okay, blue, green, red and purple. Okay, these are the colors for these categories which we are using or we have customized at the place. Then you can see here PLT dot X label, Y label, Z label. Okay, these are the same thing and will be repeatedly we will use in every graph. Okay, and so when you will PLT dot show, okay, this will used here to show the graph. Shift and enter. Just you need to shift and enter. Okay, so this will visualize your this input and you can have the graph according to our input. Okay, so here first graph is in blue, then we have green, red and purple. So these colors were assigned to the categories which are at the bottom. You can see A, B, C, D, and on the left hand side you have the values and these are the categories. Okay, and on the top you can see the title. Okay, so in this way we can customize this port. Got it? Any question? Okay, and then we have the next one. Next, at this place, we are using Seaborn library. Okay, for the bar plot, we are using Seaborn. And when we are using the Seaborn, I told you that Matplotlib will be there. Okay, so here you can see data. We have, you can see in this, these are the categories which are stored here by using the string. Okay, sorry, by using the dictionary. We store the categories inside which are A, B, C, D. So this is the key. This is the key, and these are the values of the which are stored inside categories. And here these are the values which are 10, 15, 7, 12. So this entire data will store inside the data. And then we are using here SNS dot bar plot. SNS is used for Seaborn library. Okay, so this abbreviation will be used. So in the entire Python when you are using, and we have to import just like if you are using NumPy is NP will be used. If you are using the matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, we will use PLT. If you are using Seaborn as SNS, then SNS will be used. Okay, if you are importing the library pandas as PD, so PD will be used. So these abbreviations, whenever you will use the Python libraries, only we will use everywhere abbreviations which are defined. Okay, so here you can see this is the X variable, which are the categories, and Y equal to we have the values, and data is equal to data, and here this is the just like the verdicts by using this one we are not required to define the colors. This will automatically generate different colors for each category. Okay, and then we are using here plt dot show. Okay, so and along with we are not using any other function here, just by using this SNS bar plot and PLT dot show. Mainly we have only the two statement, and first to store the information. Okay, then when you will press shift and enter, and you can see X, Y, data, palette. Okay, okay, hue. We have to use we have the graph. You can see we have this graph. Okay, the graph is there, but along with we have meshes also. Okay, graph is at the place. You can see this is the graph categories, and then you can see on the y-axis we have the values, and on the top you can see nothing. If you want to assign the title, then you can give. Okay, but what a new thing in this graph, we do not assign the X label and Y label. Okay, automatically these are generated, and categories also there. Okay, by using Seaborn. Only we give this statement and then plt dot show to show the graph. Okay, if you want to insert it, you want to customize something, just like you want to insert the title on the top, you can use plt dot title and give the name of the title as we do in the previously. Now see this error message. This is not the error message, but the future warning. Okay, not the error message, but you can see this is the future warning, because the inside the Seaborn library there are regular updates, and due to this update we have this error message. Okay, just 1 minute. I was talking about SNS control and enter. Okay, uh, just 1 minute. Where is the error message? Okay, and then so this is discussed, no problem. Then after we talk about okay, I think that one particular deleted, no problem. You can see if I delete this part. Now see this message. Okay, so this is the error future warning. You can see passing palette without assigning hue is deprecated and will be removed in v0.140. Assign the x variable to hue and set legend false. Okay, so here you can see legend is false, and here inside at the place we have to assign hue categories. And when you will execute, then there will not be any error message. So this warning message has been removed now. So when you have to define here hue categories also. Okay, this is used for X is the categories, and for this we have to use here hue. And when you will use hue and legend fast. Okay, if you will take here legend is true. Okay, if you are using legend is true, then shift and enter. So inside you can see here with respect to the categories, we have the legend on the top left. Okay, so if you are using the legend and hue for categories, then there will be no warning message. If you are without using, graph will be there, but warning message is there. Not worry about the warning message. Okay, so if you not required these categories, and here in this graph we are not required. Okay, since these categories are below at this place A, B, C, D, so not required these legend. And sometimes we have multiple graph, but for other purpose, in that case we have to assign these labels. Okay, but here not required. Any question?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, I have a question.
Yes,
In a situation whereby we want the legend, I saw it from the plot that you had there. In a situation whereby we want the legend to be at the right, is it possible? And then what is the differences between the Seaborn and the Matplotlib? Is there any significant differences between if we decide to just use Matplotlib to plot our graph without using Seaborn, or there's one particular advantage between both of them? So those are my questions. Thank you.
okay. Good question. And the thing is that when we have multiple graph, see here, just like we have y and z, there are two variables which depend upon x. So we have multiple line graphs inside at space. Okay. So when we have multiple line graph and we are not able to recognize which graph is used for which function. So in that case, we have to use legend, and legend will help us to recognize the graph corresponding to our function. Okay, but here I will present this type of example in the same slide. Okay, please wait for the same. Okay, I will put here. And when you are using the categorical graph, just like this type, this is the category graph, and in the category graph we have A, B, C, D. Okay, already we have, and if you are using the legend also, so this will cover the space only. But when we have these representing blue, for green, for red, for uh, purple, A, B, C, D are the categories in our data set, and colors are representing the categories. So we need to worry about the legend. Okay, legend are just symbols to represent the respective graph of the variables, nothing else. Okay, so a legend are required only when we have multiple line graphs. In that case, legend are very helpful. And the other thing, difference between Seaborn and Matplotlib. The thing is that Seaborn has some more advanced feature as compared to Matplotlib, as I discussed in the very beginning. And the detail about the Matplotlib and Seaborn both has been given in the top. You can once again go through all these detail. And also along with the when we have more complex data set, in that case it is not easy to control this thing, but Seaborn help us very large data set when you have the say x variable content 10,000 rows. So 10,000 rows are not a simple data set. Okay. So by using this type of the large data set, Seaborn can easily visualize our data set, but Matplotlib also will be used to customize, just like X label, Y label, or the title, or to show the graph. But Seaborn will just plot the graph to visualize for the large data set. For the small data set, we can use Matplotlib simply, and we can customize everything, okay, according to our need. But in the case of Seaborn, note the advanced features are there, but some type of the customization not easy with the help of Seaborn. So if you need some customization in our graph, so Matplotlib will help you to customize the graph according to our need. So what we can customize, like X label, Y label, title, or some other thing which we need, we can do with the help of Matplotlib. Okay, so by using all these, you will we will when import the large dataset by using a CSV or Excel file, and you will feel the comparison. And also you can try in the place of Seaborn, and you will see the complexity while using the Matplotlib at the place of Seaborn. Okay.
Well, okay, sir, I think his
Yes,
first
please.
question was the legend that you inserted. Is there any
Listen.
possibility to alter position the legend at any place, or it's automatic? You know? Hello, sir.
Hello. Hello.
The legend of the bar chart.
Yeah, I will give you. I will give you the detail about the legend when this will come. Okay, don't worry. Please wait. So here you can see this is the third bar plot using Matplotlib. Has been discussed. Okay. So this part we have discussed, and then we have the bar plot using Seaborn. Okay, and here you can see only uh, three statements are there. Okay, and you can easily visualize the same graph. And here also we put the title. Okay, see here, if you want to put the title, you have to use plt.title. Okay, so when you are using the Seaborn, you have to use Matplotlib also. Then come to the next example. Key differences you can see, you can compare. Matplotlib more customizable but requires manual styling. Okay, and in the case of Seaborn, automatically applies better aesthetic with minimal code. Okay, in the case of Seaborn, we use only the minimum code, but in the case of Matplotlib, these are the major difference which we can see here. Okay, but Seaborn is only developed based on the Matplotlib, but have the some advanced feature. Here is histogram in Python using Matplotlib. Okay, so yes, here you can see we are using this import Matplotlib PyPort as PLT and import NumPy as NP. And here we are generating the dataset, and you can see the dataset is randomly generated here. NP dot random dot rand n. Okay, this will generate random numbers for normal distribution. So when you are using rand n, see this function, when you are using rand n, this will be the 1000 random numbers from the normal distribution, like bell shape. Okay, and then plt.hist data beans we are using 50. So 50 beans will be generated. Color we are using blue, and edge color we are using black, and alpha we are taking here 0.7. We can customize all these values. Okay, then we have the plt.x label, y label, and title, then plt.show. Okay, so first observe the graph. Yes, so here you can see the entire data is looks like a bell shape. Okay, the data is entirely normal distributed. You can see here the shape like bell is normal distributed. Okay, so the data which we generated space is normal distributed, and these are the beans, and the color we are using is blue, and the edge color of each beans we have black. Okay, if you are using here, you can customize the color is, you can take red. Okay, so the edge color will change at the place. Okay, now you can see The edge color is red. Okay, this is the edge color. And the strips which you can see here, these are the beans. And these are 50. When you are using here 50, these are 50 beans. If you want to use here just like 10, because the data is randomly generated. That's why you can customize according to your need. If you are using here 10 beans, then the beans will be 10. You can see, you can count now. Okay, these are countable. So 10 beans are there. Okay, so according to your data set, if you need to customize the beans, how much are required, you can do accordingly. And you can customize the colors. The color blue is the face color and red is edge color. Okay. So this is the data which you generate randomly, and you can have your own data, but you have to store inside data. Then you can use only at this place. Okay, and you can customize everything which is available here. But you have to, if you have multiple variables in your data set, you have to choose one array, and then you can accordingly visualize your histogram. Okay, for the histogram, you can need only one array. So this is the one array only. Okay, and that is distributed as a normal distribution. You can see here. Then we have the histogram using Seaborn. Here we have the histogram. Yes, please.
Alpha. The alpha is 0.7 there. Is it attributed to the normal distribution alone?
Pardon?
Alpha is 0.7.
Alpha, just like we have the, you can customize it. If you will take here 2, and then you can see the change. Okay, just like alpha arrays you have studied, these are used for the colors. It's you can say darkness you can manage by using these values. If you are using here 8, you can see darkness of dark shade of blue color. Okay, if you are using at page 9, it will be more dark. Okay.
Okay.
See, and if you are using a less value, say it is 2, so you can manage according to the alpha value. Okay, so this will change the shade of the color. So 7 or 8, 9 you can use. Then we have the histogram using Seaborn. Okay, the previously we are using here Matplotlib. Okay, but now we are using Seaborn. Okay, and there is also one special feature, and we can do some more things by using a Seaborn. See here, we have the data is randomly generated. Seaborn, SNS, PLT, NP. We are using these 3 libraries, and here is the data which is generated randomly, and here we are creating histogram. Okay, inside the histogram you can see data, base, and one more thing we are using here, KDE curve. Okay, which is true, and color is green. So we are using the green color. So what is KDE? KDE is a kernel density estimate. Curve is the smooth, continuous approximation of the histogram and useful for visualizing the probability density of the continuous variable. And it gives a clear view of the data distribution, which type of the data is distributed. Okay, so along with the histogram, this curve will be generated, and also you can input like X label, Y label, and the title. Okay, so these can be customized with the help of PLT, but with the help of SNS we can generate only the graph. Okay, and this customization with the help of PLT. Okay, and then we can show the graph. Then we can show the graph. Okay, so when you will execute the same graph. Okay, so in this histogram, you can observe that there is a one curve. Okay, so this is the KDE curve. Okay, this is the density distribution of the data, and showing us the shape. You can see like bell shape. You can see the normal distribution shape of the curve. Okay, so if we don't, we have only the curve is sufficient, and also we can have the histogram, and with the help of histogram, we can also observe the data distribution. Okay, so histogram help us to study the distribution of the data set by plotting the graph, and if the data set is normal distribution, you can see the curve which you can see here is also like normal distribution curve. Okay, and this can be inserted only if you are using KDE. Okay, if you not required, then you will make it space false. You can change true into false. Now we have the graph without this KDE curve. Okay, so each time the graph will be different, but it will be normal distributed. You can see the graph is normal distributed, but each time the graph which will be generated will be different, because the here we are using random distribution. Okay, so that's why each time when you will execute this statement, the graph will be different, and for KDE curve we can make it true. Okay, and then execute. So this curve we can insert with the help of only Seaborn, but we are not able to insert this curve with the help of Matplotlib only. Okay, so there are many features which are inside in Seaborn, which are the advanced features we can use. Okay, for the large data set and for many type of the manipulations, just like we have the pair plot. Okay, we can't do pair plot with the help of Matplotlib, but we can do with the help of Seaborn library. So there are so many advanced features inside Seaborn which are not available in Matplotlib, but Matplotlib can help us to customize our visualization of the dataset. And in the next here, okay, shift and enter. So here we have the customizing plot in Matplotlib. So these things we have discussed in the above examples, but what we can customize by using Matplotlib, we can change the color, we can change the style, we can adding legend, label, title, and adjusting the figure size. Okay, so these we can customize according to our need. And here is the example, and you can use these features to customize your graph. So here in this example, you can see we have the categories and values are there. 4 categories, their values are there, and here we are using bar plot plt dot bar. Categories, values, and color we are using red, blue, green, purple, and x label is there, y label is there. Okay, and then we can use the grid lines. Okay, we can customize the grid line. Okay, axis, line style for the grid line, and plt dot show. So when you will execute this shell, you can see. You can see. Okay, I have to execute this one. Shift and enter, right? Here and run this bar. Jump to the next one. Why it is doing so? So here you can see inside this graph, the vertical grids are smooth. Vertical grid you can see smooth, but the horizontal grids you can see dot are there. Okay, and when you need both, then you can customize by using like in this way. You have to store a plot subplot inside AX. Okay, subplot. Then what you will do? This will control the other customization which you will make. So here AX dot bar. Now we will use AX dot bar. So here we will put the same parameters, categories, values, and the color. Then we can set the categories on the X label. So AX dot set underscore X label will be used for the categories on X axis. And you can set the Y label. Okay, you will use this statement AX dot set underscore Y label. Okay, since this plot is stored inside AX. So we are making these changes in AX. So AX will extract this graph, this one. Okay, so this statement will control all the customization input which you will do at this place. So here AX dot bar will plot the graph, categories, values, colors are there. Then you can customize the X label. You can set the X label, set the Y label, set the title. Okay, and here we are set the X-axis grid. Okay, true, and the line style is hyphen, and also we are using here AX dot Y-axis grid. Okay, so we customize here X-axis grid as well as Y-axis grid, but in the previous we make only the Y-axis grid. Okay, and here we are doing both. So with the help of you can do customize everything according to your need, what you want to make, and then plt dot show. So when you will execute this statement, you can see the style of the grids which appear at this place. Okay, on the vertical line you can see hyphen hyphen, and on the horizontal line you can see the dot are there. Okay, so this is the graph with the help of customization, and according to our need we put several customization inside this graph. Okay, and this graph is due to all this input which we make customize by using this statement at a place. Okay, so in this way we can customize our entire graph in which manner we want to visualize our inputs. Any question? Any question in this section? If you have. Okay, now we have the Seaborn. What are the advantages? Here you can see the pre-built theme for better aesthetic, and work well with the Panda data frame, and built-in statistical plot. Okay, and here you can see some examples, and minimum statements are required. Examples are similar. Okay, you can see import Seaborn as SNS, import as import numpy as NP, and here you can see this will the dataset. This statement will generate the dataset, and then we are using SNS dot histplot. Okay, and data caddy true bins 30. Okay, you can increase the number of the bins according to your need, and PLT will be used to show the title and to show the graph. But library is already imported here in the above statement, so we can have this graph. Okay, you can see we have this graph. Okay, so the caddy curve is there and his plot is there. And this part is very, very important. So everything which we need for the data visualization we have discussed here. And after that, we will import our CSV file. And when we have the CSV file containing various parameters, and then how we can visualize, since here we generate the data, but our data will be always either in the CSV file or Excel file, and several variables will be there. And in that case, how you can use all these functions which we use here. Okay, but before that, all these functions are needed to understand which type of the plot is required according to our need. So this is the which is the right plot for our data set. It is very important to know. So here first we discuss all this ninth section, and then we will talk about how we can import the CSV file, and then how we can visualize data set. Okay, that is again a very important part, and I will share the entire content along with the CSV file. And also one more thing, Python itself will provide not a Python, but Seaborn library have some inbuilt dataset we can use them. Okay, so also I will show you how you can use the inbuilt dataset. And today the file which I am using, a CSV file, is also available in the Seaborn library, which you can use directly without having the dataset. Okay. So this part is very important to study you. Data visualization play a crucial role in understanding and interpreting data effectively, and selecting the appropriate type of the plot is essential to accurately convey insight, relationship, and trends in the data. The right choice of plot depends on various factors, including the nature of the data, the type of the analysis, and the message that need to be communicated. So below are some common type of the plot and their suitable application. Okay, so according to their application, we have to use this function. Okay, so if you are using the bar plot, why we need bar plot? Why we need this bar plot? Okay, we can use bar plot for categorically data representation and help us to compare different group or the categories, ideal for showing discrete quantities and making comparison. So these are some applications. And if we need some like different groups are there, categories are there, and we need to compare, then bar chart is very important. So we need bar chart. And when you are using the histogram, and in the histogram we discuss the distribution of the data. We talk about the normal distribution. Okay, so this will let us know how the data is spread. So used for displaying the distribution of the normal numerical data, and suitable for analyzing frequency distribution, also help us identify patterns such as skewness and outliers. Okay, so with the help of histogram, we can have these features, and if these skewness, outliers, distribution are required, then we will use histogram. Okay, and if you need to study the trend over time or series type analysis, and you need tracking changes and making predictions, in that case we need line plot. Okay, and if you want to check the relationship between the numerical values, variables, and you want correlations and clusters, ideal, and then we can use the scatter plot, and it is ideal for the regression analysis, anomalies detection. Okay, so when according to the need, okay, if you need clustering, identification, or the correlation, and you want some want to find out some relationship between the numerical values, then you can use scatter plot. Okay, and pie chart is used for, sorry. Okay, so the pie chart is used for useful showing proportions and percentage, best suited for the small data set with a few categories. If we have the less categories, small data set, then we can use pie chart, okay, to represent our data set in the percentage or proportions, and should be avoided when dealing with the complex data. So in the case of complex data, we are not able to use pie chart. This will be very complex visualization and not able to read everything when we have the complex data set, and complex when we have multiple variables and having the large values, large data set, large parameters, and length of the data set is very large. Okay, one array contain more than 100 rows or 1,000 rows are there. So in that case, we are not able to use pie chart. Box plot. Okay, again, box plot, you know the importance as we discussed in the previous lecture, used for statistical summaries of the data distribution. When you will plot the box plot, it will return maximum value, minimum value, outliers, first quartile, second and also it help to visualize a median, quartile, and outliers we have discussed, and suitable for comparing distribution across multiple group. Okay, when we have multiple group and we need to compare all these, so in that case we can have box plot is more suitable, and we can easily study the entire data set when we have in the group, and we need everything, mean, median, outliers, and we need and you know, when we need the statistical analysis, we have to remove the outliers, missing values, okay, everything. So box plot is very helpful. And then we have the heat map. We in the last lecture discussed about the heat map, and you can have some idea about the heat map. Okay, best for representing matrix like data and useful in the correlation analysis and displaying intensity variations. Okay, intensity variations we can easily use, and this heat map is commonly used for like bioinformatic and machine learning models. Then you can see the violin plot, and you can go through the detail why and when this can be used. Okay, combine box plot with kernel density estimation, and used for the understanding data distribution variability, useful for the comparing multiple distribution. We can use violin plot also, and bubble chart is also there. Okay, and an extension of the scatter plot with the additional dimensions represented by bubble size. Okay, and used for multiple variable comparison, suitable for financial and business analytics. And last one we have is the radar chart. Okay, or we can say spider plot, best for comparing multiple variable at once. Sometimes we need to compare multiple variables. In that case, we can use this spider plot, and commonly used for in the performance analysis and decision making. Help us in visualizing strength and weakness across different parameters. So these things will help us which plot is useful for our data set. So once you will go through all these detail, the type of the functions and their specialties, which type of the visualization is required for our data set. Since all these will depend upon our data set, data type, and our requirement. So according to that, we can visualize our data set. So this information is very, very important, and you must go through all these detail so that whenever you will apply these functions will help you. So which visualization is help you to study your data set, and what this reflect when you will visualize your data set, and it will help you to interpret the visualization of your data set. Since when you have the visualization or insight from the data, you need to interpret. So while interpreting, you must keep in mind these features of each function of the data visualization. Okay, so when you will have this information, you can easily interpret your visualizations. Okay, So this is all about the functions which we can use directly. And if you have any question now, before starting, how we can import the CSV file, I want to ask if you have any question, or either you can put your question in the chat box. Sometimes I am not able to get actually what is the question. Okay, Lukman, the legend. Okay, legend. I explain you when we have line graph. Okay, I'm not talking about the bar graph or pie chart. When we have line graph, mainly multi-line graph. Okay, when you have multiple lines, and if legend is absent there, then we are not able to understand these line graphs. Okay, so in that case, we have to insert legend. Okay, legend are only just like symbols. So with the help of the colors or the you can say the shape of the curve, we can easily recognize which data set is used for one specific curve. Okay, so only this is the reason to use legend, and most applicable and useful only if we have multiple line curves or line graph. Only then we can use these legend. Any more question? But in the chat, I can find only the one question. Okay. So I think there is no more question. If anyone have, you can unmute your mic, you can put your question. Otherwise, we can go for the next level, how we can import the CSV file. Okay. And then we will apply easily all these. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So now I think the question Lukman was asking from Nigeria about the legend, and now it is clear. But still, I will try to put one example inside our graph. So let's first talk about the CSV file, how we can use for the visualization of our data set. Okay, so this will help you for all type of the visualization. Okay, so here I have to open Irish data. Okay, so this is the Irish data, and you can see here this is the CSV file, and Python Jupyter notebook is also there. So when you will have both the file in the same directory, okay, so it is easy to read the file in Jupyter notebook. Okay, CSV file or other file like Excel or PNG. So if all these files are in the same directory, easy to read. Okay, so here I am going to open this Irish data analysis, and this will be very helpful. And within 30 minutes, I will try to present the entire file. And very simple, and everything which I need to explain here, I put every information inside at this place. So first we need to import the required libraries. One is the import pandas as PD. Then here is the we are using the Seaborn. Okay, Seaborn library, and we have talked about many things about this. And here we are using import warnings. Okay, so we are using this warnings because current version of the Seaborn generate a bunch of the warning that we will ignore warning dot filter name ignore. Okay, so this happened due to the regular updates in the Seaborn library. So by using this statement, these warning due to Seaborn will not be appear in our statements. And here we are importing the Seaborn as SNS. Then we have the Matplotlib, and also we are using here SNS.set style. We are using here white, and color code is true. Okay, so here first we need to import the we need to read irish.csv file, which you can see here inside our dataset. This is the CSV file. Okay, and I'm not opening here. We will read from our. If you need to open, you can open. Okay, but I'm not doing so here. Just I need to import this file by using this function, and here is also head we are using. First few rows will be read by using this head, and if you put here 5, so first 5 rows with the head will be there. Okay, and then you can press shift and enter. Okay, so yes, so this is the data inside our file, which you can see. These are the index, these are the IDs used here, and sepal length, centimeters, width in centimeter, petal length is there, and petal width is there, and species are there. Okay, so this is the one type of the flowers. Okay, and to study the flower type and its something, we have the database. Okay, so we want to visualize, and these are the some parameters you can see. Species are there, and when we need to visualize, okay, and how we can use this data set which is inside this file, in this file, and this is like the complex data set. So first we will check about this data set by using irish species value count. How many species are there? Okay, so you will use this value count, and this will return the species with their name and their counting. Okay, you can see irish setosa 50, and next we have the versicolor 50, and virginica is 50. So each species contain 50 count. Okay, now what we do, we are doing here, the first we can plot things in using the plot extension from pandas platform. Okay, so here we are using irish.plot kind. Here you can put a scatter, you can use a bar plot, etc. So according to that, for the scatter we know there will be 2 variables are required. So here we are taking 2 variable x and y. Okay, so x we have the sepal length cm and sepal width cm. Okay, so here we are taking these 2 variable. We are taking these 2 variable, sepal length, first variable and the second variable. Okay, so we want to find out some relationship between these two. Okay, so for that we will visualize, add this place, and when you will enter, so we will have this type of the graph. Okay, so these are the species. The color in blue, you can see these species, and irish versicolor, you can see here the orange color, and the green is showing virginica. Okay, so these are the scatter plot of these 3 species, and you can analyze all these. If there is any, you can see this is the positive relationship we can see here. Okay, and similarly you can find the some relationship between the other, whether it is a less or negative or positive. Okay, so you have to check all this, and if you are familiar about the scatter plot, its type, okay, so you can easily find out is there any relationship or not. Okay, some statistical background and must be will help you to understand. Similarly, we can use here box plot. You can see we are using box plot. We can look at an individual feature in the seaborn through the box plot. Okay, so by using x is equal to species and y is equal to petal length, okay, and data irish. So here when you will execute by using the seaborn, okay, but with the help of you can say Matplotlib, we are not able to print the box plot. Okay, but here we can easily plot the box plot. Okay, you can see there are 3 categories. Okay, so here this is the first category. You can see Eris setosa. Then we have the versicolor and virginica. Okay, so here you can see maximum value, minimum value, okay, first quartile, median, okay, and third quartile, maximum value, minimum value, and these circles which you can see, these are the outliers. Similarly, this is the data set second, okay, and you can see you can compare the what is the maximum value. This line represents the maximum value. This is the minimum value. Okay, this is the first quartile. This is the third quartile, and inside the line which is the dark is the median or second quartile. Okay, and here also we have the third category, and you can see the maximum value, minimum value of first quartile. The below line of this box is first quartile, and upper line is third quartile, and the line which is inside is the second quartile. Okay, so second quartile is equal to median. So we can easily study the which type of the categories type of the data, and if there is outliers we can easily extract from this place. Okay, and then also we can have here what we are doing. Yeah, so one way we can extend this plot is adding layer of the individual point on the top and its length seaborn strip plot also. We will use jitter tube. Okay, we are using jitter tube here, and with the help of this jitter tube, so that all the points don't fall in a single vertical line above the species. This will also will be inside this graph. Okay, saving the resulting axis is AX each time causes the resulting plot to be shown on the top, and this is the way how we can use. Okay, so SNS box plot, which is the same as we do in the above, and also we are using AX, and here you can see. Okay, here we are using the edge color, which is gray. Jitter is 2, as we say at the place. Jitter function we are using. Okay, here jitter is 2, you can see, and data and the other parameters are same. Okay, so this is the strip plot we are using, and above we have the box plot. So when we will plot this graph, we have some special features. Okay, we have some special features, as you can see here. Okay, so here you can see this one. So the data which is the vertical line, how spread is your data? So here you can see this is the spread of the data along this vertical line. Okay, and the other box plot is there. Similarly, you can check for the versicolor, and you can see how is the data spread. Okay, along this vertical line, you can see circles, and you can see in the first one also setosa for setosa. Box plot is there, minimum value, maximum value. Okay, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, along with the spread of the data along vertical line. So this is the some specific feature which we can do with the help of Seaborn by adding jitter. Okay, so this spread of the data we can do with the help of only by using jitter function. Okay, see here, and this can be used store all these AX we have to use. Okay, see, saving the resulting is AX time causes the resulting plot to be shown. Okay, so this information is stored inside AX, and this information stored inside AX, and when you will execute, both will actually these are the separate graphs. Okay, when you will not use AX to store the information, so these are the separate graph. Okay, the spread will be in the different graph, and box plot is the different graph, but we are storing both the graph in AX. So when you will execute, this will return both graph in the same image. Okay, so in this way we are using this Seaborn plots. Here is also some like different, we talk about this violin plot. Okay, we talk about violin plot and combine the benefit of the previous two plot and simplifies them. Denser region of the data are fatter and sparser, thinner in the violin plot. So this is some specific feature, and sometimes it is required. We can use this graph also, and very simple. Just you need to use a violin plot. Okay, X is the species, Y we are using the same, and data is Irish. Okay, this will combine the above two graph. See, when you will execute, yes. So these will appear like in this way. Okay, so inside this graph you can see inside we have the white horizontal hyphen look like. So this is the median, and then we have the thick like slender. So this end of the slender is the first quartile, and this is the third quartile. Okay, and where this is the like minimum value, and then we have the line, and this is the maximum value, and the values which are above, where is my cursor, these are the outliers, and below, where is my cursor, these are the outliers. Okay, and how the data is spread. So the other thickness you can see, these are help to understand the spread of the data for this, and similarly you can study the others also. Okay, so outliers, median, first quartile, third quartile, maximum value, minimum value, all these things are inside in this graph. Okay, so first, when you will able to understand about the box plot, only then you can able to study this type of the graph also. Okay, but without understanding, these are very typical. Then also, yeah, this is the very important part. So here we have the final seaborn plot useful for looking at univariate relations in the KDE plot, which create visualize a kernel density estimate of the underlying features. Okay, so here we are visualizing the KDE. Okay, so here we are using C SNS dot face grid and Irish hue spaces, height 6 we are taking, and dot mp map function is there, and what we are want to map, we have KDE plot petal length, and then add legend dot add legend. So legend will be there. Now the concept of the legend, why it is required, this graph will help you to understand. See, yes, so this is here. Yes. So here you can observe there are three graphs. This is the first graph, this is the second graph, and this is the third graph. So when we are studying this graph, we are not able to understand which graph is used for which data set. But on the right top, you can see these are the legend of the species. Okay, blue line, the blue line, these are the legend, three legend are there. So blue line representing for Iris tosa, and orange color is used for Irish versicolor, and the green color is used for third species, which is Virginica. Okay, so this is the importance of legend to use in our data set, and this will be used only when we have the line graph only. Since in the line graph we need legend, otherwise it will be specifically when we have multiple line graph. If there is a single line graph, no problem. But when you have two or more than two line graph or the line curve, in that case it is required legends there. So this legend will help us to know about the species. So here by showing the blue graph, we understand that the blue curve which is representing in the inside of this density is representing for Setosa, and similarly for the others. So this is the importance of the legend used in graph. Got it now? Why we are using this legend inside our dataset? Any question, please? I think the use of the legend is clear.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So then after we can have, yeah, this is also again very important. So what we are doing here, another useful Seaborn plot is the pair plot. So these graphs which you can see here, we are using the Seaborn library, and all these features are not inside Matplotlib. That's why Matplotlib we can use for the simple and customization. Okay, so if you need some customization in the visualization, we can do. So, but here, what we, how we are using the Seaborn, and again, it's very quite simple to use, and very inside the functions are there, which we can directly use in SNS, and very simple to use. Okay, so here another useful Seaborn plot is pair plot. Okay, here we are using pair plot, and which shows the bivariate relationship between each pair of the features. And from the pair plot, we will see that the Aries setosa species is separated from the others two across all features combination. Okay, so here this is the way how we can do, how we can use the pair plot. So SNS dot pair plot, then Irish dot drop. We have to drop like ID. IDs are not required. Okay, so ID is one parameter, and hue species. Okay, then size we are using here 3. You can customize according to your need. Okay, so here when you will execute this statement, yes, so multiple graphs are there. You can see, yes. So these are the pairwise graph. So how you can understand these pairs? See here. So there are, you can see 4 parameters are there. Here is span length cm, then width cm centimeter, and then we have petal length cm and petal width cm. Okay, so these are the 4 parameters, and 4 parameters will be on the vertical line. All these 4 parameters will be on the vertical line. Okay, so this graph which you can see here is by using here is on the horizontal line span length cm in centimeter. Okay, and on the vertical line you can see petal length petal width centimeter. So with the 2 variables we have the scatter graph. Again, this will be used for all these horizontal variables. Okay, so here also we have the scatter graph by using these 2 variables, these pairs. Okay, one is on the vertical line we have petal width, and on the horizontal line we have spal width. Okay, so this is the scatter graph, how these 2 pairs are separate. Okay, you can see the scatter plot, and if you are taking this variable and this variable, so you can see here the spread of these 2 variable inside our data set in this way. Okay, and these show the one type of the relationship. Okay, so diagonally both are positive, you can see, but here at this place you can see there is no relationship in the data set. Okay, or if there exists, very less, but here you can easily observe that this variable and this variable and this variable have some relationship. Okay, but here no relationship is there. Okay, but here if possible there is a very less relationship between these 2 variables, and here we have the petal width centimeter, and here is also petal width centimeter. So both have the curve, how this curve is separate. Okay, both the variable are same. That's why we have this area graph. Okay, along with the KDE curve. Okay, similarly, we have all the diagonals. All the diagonals inside this pairwise graph will be like a KDE curve. Okay, so these graphs have the same parameter on the horizontal and vertical. That's why we have this type of the graph. Okay, and here you can easily see blue is setosa, orange is for versicolor, and green is for virginal. Legend is also there. So, and also you can see inside when we are using the pair graph, we use only this statement. Only single line we use for pair plot, and we are not using here any kind of the other statement like pair plot, scatter plot, KDE curve, legend, nothing. Only SNS dot pair plot by using everything what which is required inside our pairwise plot is there. You can see. Okay, so you can easily study the all the graphs from this place, and all are representing the pairwise. So this will take the pairs from inside our dataset and will visualize all the possible graph inside at place. Okay, and you can see there will be 4 column and 4 rows since there are 4 variables. Okay, so there will be total 16 graph will be there. So this is the 4 by 4 means 16 plot are there. And you can easily study this graph and will help you to understand about your entire data set, how the data set is spread, and which variables have some relationship, and if there is a relationship between the two variable, those are important to study. If there is no relation, then why those are not important for the study. So first you scatter plot help us to find out is there any relationship between the variable or not. So according to that we can choose the variable for the statistical analysis or the other part of the study. Okay, if there is a relation, then this will have pass for the like we can do some analysis. Okay, so here diagonal element is a pair plot to show the histogram by default. Okay, we can update this element to show other things such as KDE. Okay, so if it is required KDE, we can do SNS dot pair plot irish dot drop ID not required, hue spaces, okay, and size 3, and diagonal kind KDE. So what happen when you will use this statement?
I have a question.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
In this pair plot, in this pair plots, is it possible apart from this histogram, because I saw that the histogram is a constant thing that must be there. Can we also use maybe there's a way in which we can manipulate it instead of using the scatter plots, maybe the peta or bar chart or something like that? Apart from this scatter plots, is it possible?
In the pair plot, because actually the thing is that here, if you need the pair histogram, okay, so this can be possible when we are using the categories. Okay, we have to specify it. Only then we can have the histogram. But here by default, when you are using, we have the scatter first. Actually, when we have the pair plot, in that case, we have this type of the graph will be there, mainly scatter and these like KDE graph. Okay, so if you need pair plot, then in that case you can see here in the place of here you can see this is the again we have the scatter. You can use here okay, just 1 minute. Okay, one thing we mix, you can use here in the place of scatter, you can use uh, uh, histogram at the place. Okay, you can use histogram. But for the histogram, you need which type of the plot is required. You can make here histogram and then you can plot by using in this way. So you have to specify which graph is required for you. So according to that, you can use. But in the pair plot, it is not easy, not typical. So here this part is missing, one part is missing. So inside this graph, you can see by using this statement, joint plot. Okay, here is joint plot. So when you will use joint plot, this will return the scatter as well as histogram. You can see SNS dot joint plot, X and Y there, data arrays size 5. So when you will use this will return scatter plot and histogram in the same graph. See, yes. So here you can see inside the box you have the scatter plot, and in this side you can see the histogram, which is corresponding to this value on the vertical line. If you want to observe this histogram, this is for this variable, and on the top you can see there is one histogram, and this histogram is corresponding to these values which are at the bottom for these values. Okay, so sometimes we need this combined graph or joint graph we can do. Okay, so if you need the histogram, then you have to specify. Only then you can do.
Okay. My second question.
But in the pair graph, we are not able to customize. Okay, I don't observe.
Very clear.
For example. Yeah.
Okay. My second question is this part, the violin part.
Which one?
No, violin, the violin plot, violin.
Okay.
So I want to ask, the question I want to ask there is, maybe in the future I might want to make use of the violin instead of the box plot, because the violin is very much more comprehensive than the box plot, because violin is having both the box plot and then the violin itself. But the only issue that I'm having there, the only issue that I'm having there is that it's not showing whether there is an outliers, or if in the case of a box plot, they are showing the outliers very clear. But in terms of the violin, I'm not seeing the outliers. Is it the length of the violin that will determine the outliers?
Okay. Just see, when we are using the box plot, and inside the box plot there are first quartile, second quartile, okay, third quartile. Then we have the outlier, maximum value, minimum value. Okay. So before discussing this part, come to this one. So here in the graph, you can see this is the minimum value where my cursor is moving. This is the minimum value. Okay. And this is the maximum value. Okay. And here the box which you are observing, the below is the first quartile. The below line of the box is first quartile. Okay. And the above line is the third quartile. And inside the box is the line which you are observing. This is the second quartile. Okay. And the other thing which you are seeing, the bubbles are there. These are showing how your data is spread about this vertical line. There is one vertical line. Okay. So how your data set is spread over about this vertical line. Okay. So this is the information inside this box plot. And similarly, in the second, in this graph, you can see one bubble is at its place. This is the minimum value, but this is the bubble which showing this is the outliers. Okay.
Yeah.
This is outliers. So I think this is again easy to understand. This below box plot, one bubble is outside the maximum value, and one is bubbles are there below the minimum value. So these are the outliers, and the orange
Yes.
bubbles you can see how your data set is spread about the vertical line. Now the thing is when we these are the two graphs, and by using this function which you want to know, violin plot, okay, so all these things are combined inside one this graph. And now compare and try to understand how I want to explain. So see this one, this is corresponding to the this graph. Okay, you can see this graph. Okay, so this
Yes.
graph you can compare with this one. Okay, this and the above are same. So inside there is a white dot. Okay, white dot or white hyphen line. Okay, this is
Yes.
the median. This is the
Median.
median. Okay,
Yes.
this is the median. And then after we have from this point to this point, there is one type of the thick cylinder. Okay, from this
Okay.
point to this point, we have like one type of the cylinder. Okay, so this bottom is first quartile, and the top of the cylinder is third quartile, and the white dot you can see this is the second quartile. Okay, got it?
Okay. Yeah,
Now
but
inside,
the main thing is
yeah, and after that there is a vertical line, and vertical line is end at this point.
okay.
Is at this point and at this point. So these are the maximum and minimum value. Maximum and
Yes.
minimum value. Okay, where this line, when you will observe and when you will see carefully, this line is end at this point and end at this point. Okay, so these are the
Yes.
minimum and maximum value. And the other part which you can see on the left hand side and right hand side, this is showing the spread of the data set about the vertical line, just like in the above image. You can see here how is your data is spread. So bubbles are there. So in the place of bubble, we have this type of shape. You can see. Okay, this left part and right part. Okay, this is showing that how is your data is spread. Got it? Similarly, you can see the other graphs. You can see the other graph. Okay, here you can see. So this part is the outlier. This is the outlier. Okay, and on the left hand side and on the right side you can see. But here you can see this part is very away from here. So some information is here at this place. Okay, so this is the outlier where my cursor is there. This is the outlier. This is the outlier. Okay, so inside this graph we have at the bottom we have two outliers, and at the top we have one outlier. But in the case of first graph, you can see there is no space. That is space after this line. There is no space. It means there is no outlier. And similarly on the top you can see carefully the line is at the space, but above there is no much more space. Okay, so in the first graph there is no outlier, and in the second graph you can see here we have some space. So here is we have one bubble, one outlier, and in the some outlier is there. And here in the third graph you can see on the top and at the bottom there is some outliers are there. So in this way we can understanding the box plot. Then after this is a little bit complex, but showing very interesting graph we can use. But the most important thing is first we need to understand the box plot, then after we can compare, and by comparing we can able to understand this visualization, which can be helpful for a different type of the data set. So whenever need, we can use this type of the visualization also. Okay, but keep in mind when we need to use. Okay, so the theoretical part which we discussed in the previous file, you must be go through, and when this type of the requirement are there, in that case we can use this type of the visualization. Okay, so the previous file where we explain which type of the visualization is required and when to use. This is very, very important thing. Got it?
Yeah,
So here,
yes. Thank you very
yes,
much.
thank you. Here is the final Seaborn plot useful for looking at univariate relation is the KDE plot, and which create the visualized kernel density estimate of the underlying feature. So here we can check also. Okay, I think we have discussed this part. Yes, we have discussed this part already. Not required. So here is the pair plot. We have already discussed about this. Then after we can have, yeah, here also you can see these are the box plotted for each species. You can see here, okay, by using Irish drop ID box plot by species, okay, and these are the size. So you can do for separately for each species, and here is the box plot. 4 types are there, okay. So you can see and you can easily go through. Yeah, this one is also again very important. One cool, more sophisticated technique pandas is available is called Andrew curve. Okay, Andrew curves involve using attributes of the samples as coefficient for Fourier series and then plotting these. So here we have to import this Andrew curve, and you will use this statement. First, you need to import from pandas dot plotting import Andrew curve. Then you will use here Andrew curve, Irish drop ID and species. So when you will execute, you will have, okay, this is the Andrew curve. This type of the curve is Andrew. So this will use the Fourier series, and this is the data which is spread over, and Irish. This color is used for Irish. This curve. This is the data which we can see here with the help of Fourier series. Okay, and then this color, which is the green for versicolor, and then this purple color is used for virginica. Okay, so this type of the data visualization by using the Fourier, and this also sometimes very helpful when we need to compare these 3 species. So we can easily observe these species here, and we can have comparison between these 3 species, and you can easily compare all these. Okay, and then after we have one more. Another multivariate visualization technique, pandas, is the parallel coordinates, and parallel coordinate plot each figure on the separate column and then draw lines connecting the features for each data sample. Okay, and for that you will import this library. Okay, this is the module, not the library. This is the module inside pandas. So from pandas dot plotting import parallel underscore coordinate. Okay, and when you will use this parallel underscore coordinates, and then you need to drop this ID. IDs are not required. Okay, in each case we have dropped the IDs, and we are using only the species. So when you will use this one, so here we will have only the straight lines. Okay, so this is the first one, then we have the second and third, and scroll down, then this will have, yeah. So this is the spell length CM, then we have spell width, then we have petal length width, and then we have a petal length and petal width. Okay, so according to that we have the relationship between them, and we can easily study this relationship among them. Okay, and these are the legend. Legend is used for the species. Three type of the species are there. Okay, so this type of the graph also very useful whenever it is required, but depend upon our study, how we want to present our studies inside our work. So according to that, we can use all this. And then after we have the one more, I think this is the last part. Final multivariate visualization technique pandas is RADVIZ, which puts each feature as a point on 2D plane and then simulate having each sample attached to those points through a spring weighted by the relative values of that feature. And here we are using RADVIZ. But depend upon your study, if this type of the graphs are required or not. So you can use RADVIZ also. Okay, and when you will plot, you can see the graph. You can go through this one. Okay, this visualization will be there. So here you can see the values of Cetrosa exist at this place, and some are the common Irish versilator and virginata. So there is no relationship of Irish Strosa between the other two, versicolor and virginica, but there is some relation between these last two, and you can easily see that here purple and the green color. So this is representing some relationship between these two graphs. Some overlapping is there. Okay, so only the when we visualize some of the our data set always help us to study and easy to understand. But when we have the only data set and not easy to without insight, the data set will always be very complex. But when you will insight, then this will help us for the understanding. So here, this is the last graph you can see. Yes, we have used already this graph in the very beginning. But here the main thing is that see this statement. See this statement. Okay, so the Irish data which we are using here in the above graph, you can directly import, download this data set from Seaborn. Okay, this data set already exists in Seaborn. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are using these libraries. Okay, and by using the SNS dot load underscore dataset, which dataset? Irish. So this Irish dataset which we are using for the above visualization is exist inside in our SNS library. Okay, Seaborn library. So from that place we are downloading here, and then we are using, and you can see use face grade color, and this is the same plot as we do in the very first. Okay, and this will download the dataset, and then it will use to visualize dataset. Okay, so here this is the last part which we do in the very beginning. Here you can see this graph. Okay, this graph and this graph, both are same. So this is all about the today's session, and I hope that the entire content which I tried to present here during the session is very useful to all of you. And if still you have any question, you can ask from me. So the thing is, the content which we discuss in the today's session and the special features about the each type of the visualization is very important to visualize our data set. Okay, and all the entire these functions will help you in the coming sessions. Okay, so the first thing is when you have the data, and by visualize you can have some information what insight is there in the graph. So all these help us to study and further, like you want some analysis, data analytic, or you need some recommendation model, you need some like machine learning model. So once you have to understand your data set, and without understanding the data set, we are not able to establish any kind of the model. So the lectures and the sessions which we conduct till date today, all these are very basic and very important to use for the data analytic, as well as to establish some type of the recommendation or machine learning models for the prediction. Okay, so I hope all these are very, I try to present everything in a very simple way so that, and all type of the examples I try to cover. So everything, how we can import our data set, how we can use, how we can visualize, how we can have the descriptive statics, how we can visualize data set, and all type of the visualizations which are required. Everything I try to present here so that this can help you. And I hope that if still you have any question, you can put your question. I will try to justify you so that the coming sessions can be more informative, very knowledgeable, and welcome your questions. Over to you. You can unmute your mic, you can put your questions, and I speak a lot during this session. Now it is time to speak you. Yes, please. It is time to speak you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I still have one more question before the end of this today's session. My question, in the case of this data that we use today, I really like it. Is consisting of 150 data sets.
Please,
And when
can you?
Yes.
Is that open what? Your webcam. Open your webcam.
Okay. Okay. Let me see.
Since the session is on YouTube, many people are saying on the YouTube also. So if you will open the webcam, yeah. So when you will speak, your video will be there in the recording also.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can ask your question. You can ask your question.
So the question is that I really like the data set. It consists of 150 points, having 50 data points each. Now, when you compare using this box plot, there are some that are having the outliers more than the others. That is, some parts is having much more outliers. Now, if you want to do data cleaning, are you going to delete all these data points that are outliers, or what are you going to do in order to fix this particular problem? So that's my question.
You want to remove the outliers? How you can do?
Yeah, sir.
You want to remove the outliers from your data set?
Exactly, because when there is one particular part that you run that shows the box plot of each of the features, and one in particular is having much more outliers than the others. So in this particular case, the ones that is having large numbers of outliers, if you take it away, if you delete it away, that means it's going to affect the others data sets. So what are you going to do in order to be able to resolve this particular situation, the problem? So that's my question.
Okay, I understand that if you have a data set and you want to remove the outliers, yesterday the main thing is you have to use the mask. Okay, and by using the mask, you need to calculate the values which are outliers. Okay, and you need to remove these values by using negation, or you need to subtract all those values which are representing outliers in your data set. Okay, so when you will use, as we discussed yesterday, there is a you have to apply the conditions which values exist in the outliers. Okay, by using the conditions, you can remove those values which showing the outliers. Okay, and then you can use the same data set, store the data set without having outliers. Then you can use for data analytic part, you can visualize all those values. Okay, and if you need some more information, yesterday, I think you attended my lecture. Yesterday you attended the lecture, and I think yesterday also you asked from me the same question. You are,
Yes.
yeah. So please go through the
The-
same file. And also, I ask if you can share your problem with me. Yesterday, the same question was repeatedly asked, and I asked that can you please share your dataset with me so that I can see what is the problem inside that and what you want to do by using the same. But I don't get the same file. I wait overnight, and today also I was waiting for the same data set. But the thing is, if I want to share the same file so that you can understand how we can remove these outliers. Uh, Yesterday in the lecture, I present this. Okay. Yesterday lecture was in this file. No, actually, I have various files are there. Large data set, very typical. Okay, inside buffer group of institution, then I have to go 2025 these activities. Then inside we have this workshop. Okay, and this was I think lecture 8. Okay, lecture 8 was there. Okay, inside this file there is lecture 8. Okay. I think data visualization. I should see this file. Okay, no. Then I have to check this one. Okay, hi, yes. Here is the outliers. Okay, you can see these are the outliers. Okay, these are the outliers. And then we have removed. No. So see, there is one file, and we have to use this formula. Yes, you can see this file. You can see these dots are the outliers. Okay, and this is the minimum value, and this is the maximum value. Here Q3 plus 1.5 IQR. Okay, so by using this formula, you can calculate this value, which is the minimum. Okay, so you will remove from your data set by using conditional statement the values which are less than from this value. Okay, which are less than this value Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. Okay, you have to remove all these values which are outliers on the left side, the minimum value, as well as those values which are on the right hand side of the maximum value. This is the maximum value, and the two dots which you are seeing at the place are outliers. So the maximum value will be calculated by using Q3. At this place we have plus 1.5 IQR, and IQR will be equal to Q3 minus Q1. IQR will be equal to Q3 minus Q1. So the value will be you will put at this place, and then all those values which are greater than from this maximum value, Okay, all these are the outliers. So these values and these values, by using the condition statement, you have to subtract from your entire data set. So automatically, when all these values on the left side and all those values which are on the right side will be removed from your data set, ultimately these outliers will be removed from your data set, and your data set is ready for use for other type of the analytic part which you need for your study. Okay, so this formula was shared with the file which we presented yesterday, and yesterday we explained in the same script how we can remove these outliers. Okay, so by using this method only, you can remove the outliers from your. Actually, the main thing is again, you have to remove the outliers from the all the data set, since the length of each data set must be equal. Okay, when you have several variable, so the length of each variable or the parameter must be equal. So you have to remove all those values having the outliers. Okay, if you will remove only from the one parameter, the length will be changed and you are not able to use your data set. So if you need to remove the outliers, you have to remove all the values from all the
Thank you
parameters.
very much. Yeah. So I understand that to remove is not an issue. Now, in a situation whereby the outliers are much, and this is going to affect the total data set. So in this particular situation, what are you going to do? That's my real question.
Which one? I don't get exactly.
Okay, I said in a situation whereby these outliers are so much in one particular variable as compared to others, is very much more than the others. Now, if you should remove all these outliers, it's going to affect the data points of the other variables. So in this situation, what are you to do? Because I've worked with a particular data set before, that the outliers that are so much that if I should remove all these outliers, it's going to affect the whole data point of the other variables.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's what
I
I'm
got.
asking now.
Yes, I got it. If you have very large data set and some outliers are there, then if you will if you will remove some information from your data set, then no issue. Okay, suppose that you have uh, 10 parameters and the length of each parameter you have more than 10,000. Okay, and there are some values which are representing the outliers, and these are about like you can say 50 or 100. Then you can remove all these outliers. Okay, and easy to use. But if you have small data set, suppose that you have only the you can say uh, the range of the data set, you have only the 100. Okay, so each length of the parameter is 100, and some of the data set have the 3 or 4. Okay, and if you will remove in 3 or 4 values, and sometimes by removing the outliers, which are representing the outliers, and when you will remove, so if depend upon the problem whether the removing all these, the other parameters have some values corresponding to these outliers, these are important, but due to outliers those values are removed from your other parameters, so this will affect your study. Okay, so we have to see the whether the outliers we need to remove or not. So sometimes if the outliers are less but not affect our main study, so according to that you have to decide whether the outcomes which we need are affected or not affected. Okay, suppose you have three variables, and from the three variables, two are very important. Okay, and third is very less important. But third variable contain some outliers. Okay, so in that case, if you want to remove the outliers, but corresponding to this, In the other two variable, you have some values which are important required and which may affect your study. So you need to require to remove. Okay. And if you are removing the outliers and no effect on the by removing the other variables which are corresponding to the outliers and no effect is there, then you can remove. So according to your findings, your study depend upon your choice. Okay. So whether due to actually the data is we have length only 100 parameters are there. So according to that, we have to decide. If we have very large data set, we have length of each variable are more than 10,000. So if you will remove 10 or 15 or 100, there is no effect on the data set. But when we have the less data set, then it is very complex whether we need to remove or not to remove. So we have to study and we need to compare. Then we have to decide which is more important for us. So according to that, we have to decide.
Okay, that's
Any
very
more
good.
question?
Thank you very much.
Any more question?
No, thank you.
No. Thank you. Thank you to all. So nice discussion, and I hope that the questions which we discuss are very helpful to all of you. And tomorrow we will resume the session at the same time. And till then, I will provide all the content which we present today during the session. I will share with you, and you must do practice by using this content, and it is quite easy to use for you since all the things are inside in this Jupyter file. Just you need to execute the statement which are available inside the file. Okay, so this will save your file, but the important thing you have to use. Without doing practice, the sessions are not important. If you are doing something, you have some challenge, you have the problem, then you can ask the questions. If you are silent, no question, it means you are not doing nothing, only you are listening the lecture. Okay. So the important thing, when you will use, you will try, automatically there will be some questions and you will try to ask and you will clear your doubts. So I think you will do some practice on this content, and in the coming sessions, some more complexity will increase, and this will be simple only if you are trying some content which are we are providing you. So thank you very much for the today's session, and good night. Stay connected and join the session at the right time. Good night, and thank you to all to listen me very carefully and engaging everything. Good night.